Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Tuesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. Let me adjust my brim here. I am your host, Brady Vini. Hope all of you are having a fantastic Tuesday evening. Lots to talk about again on stream here tonight. Mike Tomlin had his weekly press conference today. What did he say about last Thursday's game against the Bengals? What does he have to say heading into this absolutely emotional and electric Sunday night matchup with the Green Bay Packers? And what did he have to say about the injury front? A couple of players who could be returning soon. All of that we will get to here in a moment. We will also talk about everyone's favorite topic, Steelers hunt for a wide receiver too, potentially. And also the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're in action tonight. A little bit of a preview before that game starts here in about an hour and a half. We will do as well. All of that plus extra Pittsburgh sports news to wrap it all up. Before we get underway here this evening, if you are new here to the channel, please hit that subscribe button so that you turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live or upload a video here on the channel. Also, go like this live stream, share this live stream, and leave a comment in the comments section. Any thoughts, questions, opinions that you may have, anything on your mind, feel free, put those in the comments section. We can interact that way. Already one commenter here this evening, a reoccurring viewer here on the channel, Derpy Entertainment. Welcome back, Derpy. What is up, good buddy? Lots to get to here tonight on this Tuesday. We are going to start off with the Tomlin Tuesday press conference that he holds every single Tuesday afternoon. Tomlin with lots to say, talking about last week's game against the Bengals. Kind of an odd answer he had about the secondary in particular that we are going to hit on. And then he gave injury updates and then talked about the Packers, did his whole, I'm going to build up this team that we're playing this week, no matter what their record is, like they are, God's gift to football. So we are going to start with Tomlin's press conference here. Let's get this popped up on the screen right here. Starting off with his usual good afternoon, like always, there with Tomlin. Started off with the Bengals, like I said that three things really were the cause of why the Steelers lost to the Bengals on Thursday. First one, pretty obvious. Got to stop the run more effectively is what he started off with. I mean, when you let a Chase Brown, who I think came in to that game averaging 62 yards per game or something like that, and you let him break off, I think, 3 of his longest runs of the season in one game, yeah, that is not going to help you in any ways. I mean, looking at the Bengals, you shouldn't need to be a football brainiac to know that that is a very pass-happy offense. So when they all of a sudden start running the ball, that makes their offense 10 times more dangerous than they already are with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Number 2, Tomlin said, again, turned the ball over twice. We certainly didn't take the ball away. To be -2 in a hostile place, it is a catalyst for losing. So again, citing the offense, Aaron Rodgers, those 2 interceptions that he had. One, I think was, fairly his fault, that blatant and clear overthrow of DK Metcalf. The other one, the DB just made a hell of a play. But going again, citing the 2 turnovers. The offense hasn't really done that much this season. So hopefully that was just a one-off thing, those multiple turnovers. And then 3, I think this is the second game in a row that this has been an issue for the Steelers. The penalties, or at least going back, I think, to the Dublin game, Steelers were penalized a lot in that one. So penalty issues becoming more and more of a problem, especially in the secondary, which Tomlin talked about, saying that things were going well until they weren't against the Bengals. He said that about the secondary, that he isn't worried yet. He's not, discouraged yet, but they haven't gotten off to the start that he would have liked to see, which, no kidding there. So Tomlin not too worried about the secondary yet, but they haven't been performing. When you got a group with Jalen Ramsey and Joey Porter and Darius Slay, Slay really showing his age, too, by the way. You can't have their three worst games come against, a team with Joe Flacco there on 8 days of learning the playbook, Justin Fields and the Jets offense, which this team made them look like, the Patriots dynasty on offense, but they're 0-7. They're completely terrible. And then Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks, I'll give that a little bit of a pass, but did they really, have anyone else besides do they have anyone else besides Jackson Smith and Jigba, who he's really turning it on? I don't really think so. No one else on that offense really scares me. And Sam Darnold is their quarterback. Yeah, he's a suitable quarterback, but you can make him see ghost at times. So those 3 games, the secondary has looked awful. And it's not like they've been playing world beaters when their secondary has been bad. So not sure where Tomlin is coming from saying that he's not discouraged. He also said that he wanted to credit his team for fighting their tails off and getting a fourth quarter stop, one of their rare stops and punts that they forced on the Bengals all day. I mean, do we really want to take a victory lap for the, defense making one stop all game long, really, since the end of the first quarter? I don't think so. I don't get that from Tomlin at all. Like, just don't give any sort of praise to your defense. Avoid, giving your defense praise, even if they did do some things right, because when you give up 33 points to that outfit, that offense, it looks really, really bad. And, trying to give them praises is, not good. It's like, say you leave a plate of steak out for your dog and it's in a place where they can reach it, 14 times in a row they go and they eat that steak, but the 15th time when they just be good and sit on the floor, then you praise them. No, I'm not doing that. So I don't get that there from Tomlin. Back to the run game as well. Tomlin also said that this was a setback in that area and it created an environment where we weren't controlling the game. No crap there. He did make an interesting comment about a certain player and why he didn't play much, citing the lack of stopping the run there as well. So, did not get any too glowing reviews of Tomlin describing what happened in the Bengals game. Still defending the secondary. I don't get that. Time to be a little bit harsher on those guys, especially Darius Slay, who he seems to be at the epicenter of some big plays lately, and Joey Porter Jr., who is quickly developing the nickname Joey Penalty Jr. So moving on here with Tomlin's press conference today, got into the injury report after that. Good news for the Steelers. They will be getting their, right now, wide receiver 2 back. That is Calvin Austin. Tomlin saying that he is optimistic that Austin will be playing this week. He is scheduled to practice, and Tomlin delivered his whole participation will be our guideline, things like that. So maybe 19 getting back there, out there on the field. This passing offense already still clicking, using the tight ends more last week. Getting Austin back, I think, will be a nice addition back for the team. Also, coming back for the Steelers, Tomlin said that Corey Trice, he is getting close to returning. We've been asking on here for a little bit now on the channel. All right, secondary is now struggling. Is there any sort of reinforcements coming? I don't think you're going to get that through trade. You're going to need some internal development. A returning Corey Trice, who I think some people have forgotten about, that could, be someone that could step up in this situation. Profiles, a similar build and play style to Joey Porter Jr. Maybe he can play that style without taking many penalties, but health for him, it's going to be the big thing. Getting him back out there on the field and, keeping him out there, that will be probably the most encouraging thing from him if that becomes the case. Also, Malik Harrison, he is getting close to being activated off of injured reserve. His practice window, I think, opened up last week heading into the Bengals game, so you could see him activated here soon. That would be good, not just for the defense and stopping the run. I think he fills that role that Landon Roberts had last year, a big thumping linebacker who can come downhill and meet a running back in the hole and not his big calling card, having him with no Miles Killebrew for the rest of the year, getting him back, that will be a boost to the special teams. Tomlin did also mention Miles Killebrew in his press conference. I think we saw yesterday he had knee surgery. Tomlin said that the knee surgery was successful and that he will be out the rest of the year. All other players that Tomlin mentioned on the injury report didn't mention any by name, just said that they are bumps and bruises associated with play. They might, be held out for the first couple of days this week of practice, but we'll be back out there leading into the weekend. Moving on in Tomlin's press conference to talking about the team that Steelers will play this weekend, Green Bay Packers. Started with their defense, did not start with their head coach. Usually Tomlin, you got to pay attention with him, like what player or unit he starts with when he talks about a team. Like sometimes he'll start with the head coach. Sometimes he'll start with, an elite quarterback or running back on offense. This week, though, starting with the defense, I think this is 2 out of 3 weeks now that he started with the defense. Talked about Jim Schwartz when the Steelers took on the Browns and how great that defensive unit was. Started here similarly with the Packers and their defensive coordinator. Talked about their front especially. You got a front that's going to be rushing Aaron Rodgers this weekend that that involves Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt, Rashawn Gary, and of course the big one, Micah Parsons, who I think they have, are done, slowly working him into that defense. He is now a full go for the Packers. So Tomlin, said that the Steelers, they are going to take note of that fantastic front for the Packers and that they are going to proceed with caution when it comes to attacking that unit. Talked about Micah Parsons specifically, saying he is in the same category as TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. No doubt he is in that group. I don't know if there's anyone out there who would rebut that. Also, switching over to the offense, Tomlin said that everything on that offense runs through their running back. Josh Jacobs says that he is a nuts and bolts player and is a catalyst for that team. I agree with that there for Tomlin. He is the one guy that I am truly scared of, that he is going to break this game wide open for the Packers on Sunday night. We saw what he did for years with the Las Vegas Raiders. Comes up to Green Bay, and I think he has just elevated his game that much more. So for a team that couldn't stop Chase Brown, that is the one matchup that I am super, super worried about. Jacobs, a much better running back than Chase Brown coming into Acrisure Stadium. That run defense needs to improve in a hurry. And then wrapping up here, talking about the Packers offense, Tomlin said that they have a complete repertoire of receiving threats to spread the ball around to. I mean, no one guy is, star-studded over the other in that offense, but they got tons of guys that, if the Steelers were to somehow trade for one of those guys, I'd be ecstatic, because you got no one guy that has elevated themselves as the clear number one, but they all, profile as multiple ones when you put them all together. You got Romeo Doubs, Golden, the rookie out of Texas. I think Christian Watson, their second or third round pick from a couple of years ago. He could be coming back from injury here soon. Dontavian Wicks. They also got, I think, a Malik Heath as well. I'm probably forgetting a guy there, but tons of good threats there for the Packers. They also got, I think, Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, two decent tight ends there. So the weapons that they have on that offense for the Packers, they are definitely worrying, but the deciding factor on if those weapons will be effective, can the Steelers get after Jordan Love? He's had a mediocre year so far for the Packers, so we'll see if the Steelers can dial up pressure on him like they weren't able to do versus Joe Flacco, get in his head, show some complex coverages and rushes at him That'll be key to their victory, I believe, here on Sunday night. After all that, Tomlin moved into the Q&A part of his press conference. Was asked about Nick Herbig and his snap count. I believe he only played 28 or 29 snaps on Thursday night out of a bunch for the Steelers defense. I think in comparison, Alex Highsmith played 53 or something like that. Tomlin said that the Steelers' inability to control the running game defensively affected Nick Herbig's snap count on Thursday. I don't really get that there. I mean, yeah, sure, Nick Herbig, he's a smaller guy in comparison to Alex Highsmith. I want to say Herbig's 6'2", Highsmith is 6'4", 6'5". So when you look at those two and how, they size each other up, you would think Highsmith would be the better run defender. However, this year, it just hasn't been the case. I mean, go back to weeks 1 and 2, they were running the ball every single time to the left side of the formation, right at Alex Highsmith, and teams were having great success against them. Now, I think going back to the Bengals game, Chase Brown, he could have run it wherever he wanted to and would have had success. But Tomlin's still, putting out there this stigma that Nick Herbig can't defend the run and that Alex Highsmith is the solver of all the Steelers' run defense problems. It's just not true, especially this year. So I don't get that. Put Nick Herbig out there. At this point, he can't be any worse. As a matter of fact, he might even be better at Alex Highsmith in defending the run. And at the same time, you're also getting to what I believe at this point, 2 times the better pass rusher in Herbig over Highsmith. So regardless of where the Steelers are at in the game, play Nick Herbig more. Tomlin also said that in talking about the magnitude of the Steelers and Green Bay matching up here with Aaron Rodgers being the focal point of this matchup, Tomlin said, I hadn't been with Aaron for a long time, but he's been fired up every single week. I'd imagine it's going to be the same. I'd imagine some external things that are going to make more out of it than it is for him. I hope that that's the case for Rodgers. We all know that if he could have one game on the scheduled circle, it would be this game compared, also the Jets game week 1. That was a true revenge game for him. But this one, I don't think it's necessarily a revenge game. It's just all the emotions of him spending decades up there in Green Bay. It's all going to come to a head here on Sunday night. I hope, he's able to keep his emotions in check. I think he would be. He's a serial killer in his preparation for games, and he's going to expect a lot from his teammates and himself on Sunday. So hopefully everyone will be dialed in and that the emotions of the moment will not be too much, especially for Rodgers. Rodgers, by the way, aside from Tomlin's press conference, he will speak with the Green Bay media on Thursday on Zoom. So if anything interesting is said by A-Rod in that press conference, we will certainly talk about it. Also, coming from the other side of this matchup, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur, when talking about Aaron in this game, we're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who happen to have Aaron Rodgers. We had a lot of great moments in our past, but this game is not about that. I don't know if many of these guys played with him. There's a few guys, but that's for you guys talking about the media there. So LaFleur, he's coming in with, hey, it's just another game. I would like to think Rodgers, he's going to come in with that same thing. Of course, it's going to feel very, very weird for him seeing those white and yellow helmets, those white jerseys and yellow helmets on the other side of the formation here. But really no one, especially on that defense, I don't think he has played against before. If so, it was just for, a year, maybe 2. So I hope, taking his heart away from the logo on the other side, he realizes, hey, these are all guys that, are still opponents, just regular guys that I have barely any relationship for. So I like that comment there from LaFleur, and I'm sure Rodgers, if he sees that, he'll think the same thing. Last thing from Tomlin's press conference today, of course, everyone made a big stink, pretty much for the early portions of last week about the field situation at Acrisure Stadium. Tomlin was asked if he had any concerns about the field this week. Very odd answer. I'm not a grass expert. I haven't cut my grass in a long time. I don't even know who cuts my grass. So I guess Tomlin, after he and all of his players and players for the Browns absolutely ripped the field to shreds, and all of them went with complaints to the NFLPA. I guess he at least isn't too worried about it this time around. I do know Pitt plays there Saturday night, so that is going to be a really quick turnaround for the field crew at Acrisure Stadium. The Panthers, I think they're Pitt. They're playing NC State at, I want to say, 3:30, and then Sunday night football probably kick off between that game and the ending of the Pitt game. You're probably looking at 24 hours, 25 maybe between those two times. So that's going to be a quick turnaround. But that's it for Tomlin's press conference on this Tuesday. Ripped apart the run defense of the team, but again went to the defense of his secondary, saying that he's not discouraged, though it hasn't been what he has expected so far. Hyped up the pass rush and the running back for the Packers. Calvin Austin could be returning with more coming off of IR, and not worried about the field, says Tomlin. So now we will keep an eye on Steelers practice throughout the coming days and see if Austin will be indeed ready to go for Sunday night, and see if any of these other guys who may be coming off of IR could be activated soon. We will also get into another roster transaction that the Steelers made today, a quarterback getting released. What quarterback that was, we will talk about, and what it could mean here in a little bit. Before we move on here to everyone's favorite topic, that being the Steelers, I guess, ongoing search for a wide receiver too. We can't definitively say that the Steelers are, looking for a wide receiver right now, but I think we all can agree that they should be very aggressively here. To the comment section, we go here. Concepts, hope CA3 is back 100%. Yeah, shoulder injury he's coming off of. So, I mean, I hope that, it's not something that when he gets popped for the first time by a, linebacker or defensive back for the Packers, that it's going to be something that re-aggravates. I hope he's back 100% and he's able to stay on the field. Health issues have not become a worry as much as, guys like Alex Highsmith, Corey Trice, those types of guys. But he has had a tendency to get dinged up when he takes heavy hits, like what we saw him take in Dublin, and we saw him take a couple of those last year as well. So hopefully he is back 100%. That second pick wasn't a pick. The NFL still has zero clue what a catch is. They also have zero clue what PI is. The ref think PI is 3.14. Yeah, PI is pi. Yeah. The second pick, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, their concepts, how everyone was so focused on his knee hitting the ground in bounds and saying that it was an interception, that no one paid attention to the ball coming out at the end. Of course, we can all harken back to, did Jesse James catch that ball? Which, yes, he did. That, he did not survive the ground with possession of the ball. Well, that's what happened with that Bengals defender that the referees missed there. The PI calls, though, I think, the Steelers DBs were so heavily outmatched that, it was to a point where the referees, they were going to call it every single time because there was nothing the Steelers could do. And, Joey Porter Jr. especially, he's been getting PIs. I think I saw something that in his career, which he's, year 3 now, Porter is, he has had 32 pass interference penalties called on him, 20 of which have been accepted. So Porter especially, I don't think he has any other way to play other than, be up in press coverage, get handsy, all of that. So, when he's developed a reputation of being handsy like that, that PI is going to get called more often than what you would see from other DBs. Seems more like opposing offenses were running at Clark and Thornhill, to be honest. Not so much Alex. Teams ran straight at Herbig every play. Once Alex got hurt, Highsmith sets the edge better, in my opinion. Yeah, no doubt that, Highsmith does, not get blown off the line of scrimmage like what you would see from Herbig, but, you can't ignore those running charts that you would see, I think, PFF or NFL Next Gen Stats put out there after every game for like the first 2 or 3 weeks. It's all lines squiggling there to the left, right at, Highsmith and Hayward and all that. And now I do agree with, what you said there to start their concepts. I think with Chase Brown, they ran it just right up the middle. Keanu Benton, he got absolutely eliminated. And then it was like the safeties and the linebackers who made things even worse, missing their tackles as well. So the run defense all the way around, I think, right now has been very, very poor. Also a big Herbig fan, too. Just going based on what the tape shows me, stats can be deceiving. Just didn't want my comment to sound like Herbig hate. Dude is beast. Yeah, I get you there, concepts. I do. I mean, yes, Highsmith, he can, set the edge better. But when it comes to making plays, actually, tackling the runner, I mean, Highsmith has not been that guy this year. And, I mean, Herbig, could he be better? Probably not, but maybe. I mean, if you're going to suck at defending the run, no matter who you have lining up out there at right outside linebacker, I'm still going to want the guy that is going to be, the better pass rusher of the two. And also, that also goes with another thing from Tomlin's press conference saying, our inability to stop the run saw Highsmith get more snaps. It's not like, it was multiple big runs that you gave up to Chase Brown, but it's not like the Bengals just kept feeding Chase Brown over and over and over again. They passed all the way up until the final. They passed a lot. Flacco dropped back and threw the ball a lot. So it doesn't really make sense that, Herbig would be on the sideline there and you'd have Highsmith with, his one spin move going after Flacco the entire time. So that doesn't, really make sense for me either. Does Pitt pay the Steelers to use the stadium, or do ticket and food sale percentages go to the stadium owner? Seems odd if they use it for free, and I'm a Pitt alum too. I know that since I think, first and foremost, the city owns the stadium. It's not the Steelers. They do not own an Acrisure Stadium. They are pretty much just like Pitt, where they just play there. They don't really own too much of it. And that when Acrisure Stadium, then known as Heinz Field, was first built, we knew that it was supposed to be the whole way, hey, both Pitt and the Steelers are going to play here. So they're on similar, levels there. However, one being a college team, one being a professional NFL team, I'm sure the Steelers take some sort of priority over the over Pitt in that scenario, but I don't know to what degree. So, Pitt and the Steelers. I don't think Pitt pays the Steelers directly. Think they just pay to use the stadium because it's owned by the city, and they always forever Acrisure Stadium has been used as, hey, both teams are going to play here. So, going to get into a new topic here in a moment. 7 of you in here, please hit that subscribe button. Keep those comments rolling on in. Love answering your questions and thoughts. I'm going to stick with the Steelers here for a moment. Going to talk about everyone's favorite topic here on the channel, and that is the Steelers, I guess, ongoing hunt for a wide receiver too. Like I said, we cannot definitively say that the Steelers are looking for a wide receiver too aggressively. We have heard from insiders like Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport and Diana Rossini that the Steelers still are, calling around the league for wide receivers. But will they ultimately get one? I'm not sure if that's their top priority at the moment. They do love Calvin Austin. He's coming back from injury. And, I know they like Austin, but the depth at wide receiver, if you lose DK Metcalf, you are putting yourself in one hell of a tight spot at wide receiver, like what you saw last year when George Pickens went down. So, wide receiver 2, I think on to all of us, it's still at least a top 3 priority. Most of us, it's number 1, and it's not like the Steelers don't have options right now. We talked about this a little bit last night. Tennessee Titans releasing Tyler Lockett. Not sure how old is Lockett now. Is he 33 or something like that? Anyways, Lockett getting released from the Titans. Think it's 4 p.m. tomorrow, like Schefter says here, that he will officially become a free agent, though some other people today were saying, oh, Lockett could sign somewhere today, but truth is that he will be allowed to sign tomorrow when he officially becomes a free agent. Could be an option for the Steelers. I think we remember the Steelers had a tiny bit of interest in him in the offseason, potentially bringing him in. I think that was also before George Pickens got traded out of town and DK Metcalf got brought here in a trade. So now, seeing what we've seen from wide receiver production, which outside of Metcalf hasn't been much this year, maybe Austin a little bit, could, they revisit bringing in Tyler Lockett. He's cheaper than trading for someone else around the league right now. You can probably get him for around league minimum, maybe a little bit over it. I'm sure he's going to have interest from other teams as well, but wouldn't be the worst thing in the world bringing in Lockett, but it will be far from the best, I will say. Yeah, he will reunite, I should say, with Metcalf if he comes here, and he may still have a little bit of that, hey, crisp route runner game left in him, but there's a reason why he is getting cut from the Titans, and they are the worst team in the NFL. He just has 10 catches on the season, so maybe there's a chance, looking at his stats, that, hey, he's lost a step. He wouldn't be, that much of an upgrade, if an upgrade at all, over, your Scotty Millers and your Ben Skoroneks of the world like that. He would basically, at this point, looking at those stats, be viewed as a glorified Van Jefferson or Allen Robinson, who the Steelers have tried to bring in, those types of veteran wide receivers looking for, to settle down in one last place here. But I'd like to think still that Lockett could be more than that. I'm hoping he would be if the Steelers were to have interest in him. Also seems like one of those guys that could develop a quick and fluid relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers loves to go to his veteran guys that are always in the right place at the right time. Lockett, I think, fits that profile. So we will keep an eye on this. But if, Steelers do not have any interest in bringing in Tyler Lockett, I have my doubts that they actually do. There still is the chance out there. I think the chances of this happening are starting to slowly diminish here, but still at the top of everyone's boards in terms of perfect fit for the Steelers for a guy to bring in, Jacoby Myers. He mentioned again today, this was, I think, right just a couple of hours ago before we went live, Myers today, who has been dealing with, I think, a knee and a toe injury, did not play this past weekend against the Chiefs, will be good to go this weekend for the Raiders. He was asked if he still wants to be traded, and he said, oh, for sure, but I'm a professional at the end of the day. I'm just trying to play good football. He said, I got no control over that. If I'm here, I'm here. So Myers, being a professional, love that. That is a great show of character there, but also he still wants out. If, he's putting out there that he wants out, that puts pressure on the Raiders to move him at the deadline. And what better team for him to go to? A nice, solid route runner in the right position, dog in the blocking game, for, blocking in the running game. What better place for him to come than a team that needs a guy like that in the Steelers? I mean, come on, this is starting to set up perfectly here for the Steelers. I just hope that they take that, shot and bring this thing home, because Myers, playing on a crap team in the Raiders. They're going to be selling, looking to, maybe fully tank this out, get a top 5 pick in the draft. Myers is in the final year of his contract. I'm sure, as a clear number 2 guy here to DK Metcalf, the Steelers might be able to work out some sort of suitable contract extension for him. And like I mentioned, he does all the things that you would want in a Steelers wide receiver, for the current scheme that they have. So I would love to have Jacoby Myers. He still wants out. Raiders, seeing that Myers still wants out, putting that out there into the public, that might force the Raiders to lower his price a little bit, because lower the price for him a little bit, because I don't see any way he stays here and signs an extension in Vegas. I don't think they're going to want to lose him for nothing in the offseason. So please go get Jacoby Myers. If you get Tyler Lockett, I mean, wouldn't be the best thing in the world, but maybe there might be something left in the tank there. I could maybe talk myself into being okay with that, but Myers, I think, still number 1 on my board. So we'll see if anything comes to fruition. At the worst case, though, I guess the Steelers, they could also bring back Ray McLeod. He got released today from the Falcons. Everybody remember Ray? Wore number 14 before George Pickens did. He got released today by the Falcons. Was a healthy scratch for their Sunday night football game this past weekend. And then he also apparently was sent home from the facility last week, which is why he didn't play Sunday night. So wonder what that was about. Had some sort of snap there and altercation in the locker room would be my guess. But Steelers wide receiver rumors, they are still swirling right now. Got a little bit of a boost with Lockett. Now I'm sure everyone's going to take and run with it. This Jacoby Myers thing as well. People saying, come on, Omar Khan, do it. Don't ask for much. Just please go get a Myers. I've accepted the fact that, A.J. Brown, he's not going to get traded. That was pretty impossible from the start. But Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, those types of guys, they're going to come at too high of a price. Myers, I think you can get him at a good price, and he'd be perfect for this offense. Let's just go and get it out of the way here. Come on. To the comment section we go again here. Concepts, neither is a good option, but I think MVS will be a better option than Lockett. I really hope we trade for an upgrade so we don't have to pick either one, though. Talking about neither would be a good option. Do you involve Myers in that? I think Myers would be a good option. Lockett, I'm trying to so bad, look past, what he was as a Seattle Seahawk and not look at what he's been doing with the Titans. So, Lockett, it's another one. Good point there. MVS, he got released from the Niners practice squad a couple of days ago, and we probably have a better chance of seeing him as a Steeler because he has that relationship with Rodgers over Lockett. But, I think you put guys like Lockett, MVS, McLeod, all of those guys at like bottom of the barrel. Like if all of a sudden Calvin Austin goes down again, and in addition to that, you lose like a Scotty Miller or a Ben Skoranek, then you go and give those guys a call, bring them off the bench. But they're not guys that you should be prioritizing immediately. I'm going after a guy like Jacoby Myers. I almost forgot to mention this guy as well. Another guy who not necessarily, the biggest run blocker, I don't think, but a guy who does bring a rare element of speed to this offense, Rashid Shaheed. He's another guy that you could get at a decent price from the New Orleans Saints last year of his deal down there in the Bayou. So they're going to probably be looking to offload him, and they might lower their price as the deadline approaches. So either of those two guys, I'm going to go with first and foremost. And then if they don't get those two guys, then I really say get no one unless, you get injured to hell and back, because then you'd be forced to, just to have a warm body, get a guy like an MVS or a Lockett. But we'll see. What do you think Myers' new deal would look like? He's 28, so still has some good years left. Not like it's a 1-year trade unless he wants insane money and won't but re-signed and won't be re-signed. Yeah, I mean, Steelers, you're probably looking at trading for Myers around a 4th-round pick or something like that, maybe a 3rd, and you get like a 5th or something back for Myers in the deal as well. So if you're giving up that kind of capital, you would think that you would want to get him locked up for an extension. Would he be willing to do? I would like to think the years at least. If you're going to get him, you wouldn't want it to be a 2-year deal or a 1-year extension. Prove it the next year to us that you fit this system. I think you're looking at a 2 or 3-year deal. I would say 3 years, and per year somewhere between 15 and 20 for Myers. I mean, I think you can afford to, if you see that Myers could be the guy here, a solid number 2 for the next couple years with Metcalf, I think you can afford to maybe give him a little bit of an overpayment there on the offensive side of the ball, because either you're going to bring back Aaron Rodgers for another year, which I think we all could be on board that train right now, and I think he would still like to take another discount, like a $13-15 million contract, something like that, what he's already got. And then if Rodgers just does go somewhere else, it's not like the Steelers are going to go trade for a quarterback with a big contract or sign one to a big one in free agency. You're looking at a rookie or a bridge quarterback then. So whatever Myers is, it can't be, top 10, top 15 in the league type wide receiver money. Maybe getting near top 15 money. I'm not going to pay him, what, 25 million a year or something like that. That'd probably be, the last straw, and this guy better produce like he's almost a 1A or a 1B to Metcalf. But yeah, I give him a contract, give him a little bit of an overpayment if you have to, because it's not like you're still going to be paying massive money at the quarterback position. Concepts here again. No, I meant Marquez, Valdez, Scantling, and Lockett. Okay, that's what I thought you were. Yeah, they're not the best option. MVS and Lockett, those be the type of guys that if your depth gets hit hard at the wide receiver position, you bring them in and see what they can do maybe for a couple of games. But yeah, Myers, he is the best option to me, and I would be head over heels for him to come and be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Like, come on, get it done. Him or Shaheed, I think those are the 2 most realistic options. Now, of course, we'd all be, losing our minds. I'd probably fall back in this chair if the Steelers did something real crazy and got a Lave or a Waddle or something like that. But Myers, perfect guy. We'd be very, very happy, and we're like, all right, now we can see this offense fully get going here, because there's been some games where the pass has struggled a bit and the running game is needed to overcome, or the running game, they haven't used it much and you're forcing Rodgers to drop back a whole bunch. You get Myers. I think he helps in both of those worlds and will be able to steady the production from the offense in many ways. 10 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. Gonna switch gears here in a second to some Penguins hockey, but before we do that, gonna take one real quick stroll here through Twitter, see if we have any new news since we have been live. Got a good bit of extra Pittsburgh Steelers stories coming up here in a minute, including again looking at some former Steelers quarterbacks. I think the Justin Fields experiment there in New York is finally done, but Russell Wilson, he is all of a sudden all over our timelines right now with what he posted. For all the for Wilson being such a happy, I'm always Mr. Positive guy, I didn't know he had this bit of a darker side to him, calling out one of his former coaches, not Tomlin, of course. Looking here, talking about concepts here, roster projections. looking at past this upcoming weekend's game against the Packers. After that, the Steelers are going to take on the Indianapolis Colts, and they got a really hot quarterback right now, Daniel Jones. Projection for his new contract, not sure who this is from, 4 years, $204 million, $51 million per year, making him the 10th highest paid QB in the league. Jeez. Daniel Jones is balling right now. That'll be these next 3 games for the Steelers, that'll be a real test of whether they are contenders or pretenders. If they're serious contenders, going up against the Packers, Colts, and Chargers, I honestly think they should sweep. But if they take 2 out of 3, I will also accept that. You can't, only get 1 win or get swept in this 3-game stretch. Then you're in a whole heaping trouble right there. To the comment section again here, Concepts, Danny Diamonds. Yeah, no more Danny Dimes. It's Danny Diamonds now because Indiana Jones there for the Colts. He is balling right now. And if I had to predict the game that the Steelers would probably lose out of this 3-game stretch against the Packers, Colts, and Chargers, it'd be that one. Shane Steichen has had Tomlin's defense's number for, I think, multiple years now. It hasn't mattered whether it's Anthony Richardson or Matt Ryan or Joe Flacco at quarterback, or Gardner Minshew. The Colts offense has diced up the Steelers defense in recent years. So if I had to predict which game of those 3 the Steelers would lose, it'd be that one easily. And now they're, fully operational right now. Jonathan Taylor's a beast. Jones is doing his thing. They got fantastic weapons: Pittman, Pierce, Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell, and then Tyler Warren, rookie tight end out of Penn State, first-round pick. He might be a heavy favorite right now to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, honestly. All right, we are going to switch gears here for a moment before we get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the night. Going to switch things over to Penguins hockey just for a second. Real quick, looking over here to my right, Penguins pregame is on right now. Puck drop is going to go down here in about 40 or so minutes. Talked a little bit about the Pens yesterday and them going 2 out of 3 on their West Coast road trip. They are back in PPG Paints Arena tonight, a 7 p.m. puck drop against the Vancouver Canucks, and it'll be an interesting matchup because in goal tonight for the Penguins, Arturs Shalovs. He will have a chance to, I guess, have revenge against his former team in the Vancouver Canucks. Shalovs, longtime member of that organization, at one point was a starter for them in the playoffs, and then after they, brought in some goaltenders like Thatcher Demko and Kevin Lankinen, Shalovs got exiled to the AHL, where he continued to win there, led the Canucks AHL team to a championship last year. Now he's going to be going up against his former team tonight. Head coach Dan Muse, talking about the goaltending situation today, said that based on training camp, based on just where we felt both guys were, we felt like both guys deserved to be getting the opportunities that they've been giving, and so they've continued to. We're still looking at things every day. We're having all those conversations where guys are at, the past history, all those different things. Then we're making informed decisions based on that. So sounds like from Muse's comments there that Shalovs and his, familiarity with the Canucks, it played a big factor in him going in net here tonight. I think he only played 1 game on that road trip for the Pens. I want to say Tristan Jarry played games 1 and 3, and Shalovs had the middle game against the LA Kings. So I guess they're sort of, going back and forth between the two netminders here. But regardless, I think Shalovs was destined to start this game. He said, I think something along the lines of, it'll be a fun challenge going up against his old team tonight. So look for number 37 between the pipes for the Pens to go out there and perform. A couple of other things for the Pens, mostly injury update here. Kevin Hayes, Pens forward, had a workout on the ice before the Pens morning skate. Today, also Rutger McGroarty, not sure if he was out there at the same time as Hayes. He too had a workout before today's morning skate. But the biggest return from injury today, and it's not even, really an injury. Josh Getzoff, Penguins play-by-play man. We remember he had a medical thing in game one of that West Coast road trip, fainted during the second intermission of Pens and Ducks. He will be back in the Penguins broadcast booth here this evening. And funny thing from Pens PR, Josh Getzoff, day-to-day with an undisclosed injury, has been activated from injured reserve and will call tonight's game on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. Joe Brand has been reassigned to the Penguins radio network, so I thought that was absolutely hilarious. They're glad to have Mr. Getzoff back. I think really an underrated play-by-play man across the NHL. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the evening, going to see the comment section here one more time before we get there. Concepts, Jacoby Myers on if he still wants to be traded. Oh, for sure. Apparently, he was spotted at the Pittsburgh airport. The old fake pic of Brandon Ayuk at the airport. Jacoby is a Steeler. Yeah, that picture. I love how that picture gets used no matter who the person is. That same picture gets used over and over again. I'd lie if I told you I didn't have that photo in my camera roll as well. I like to play with that every now and again. But yeah, it doesn't matter who it is. That picture always gets used. Also, I love the Chris Carter of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Every time there's a new wide receiver mentioned to be available in the Steelers, fans say that the Steelers should go get him. He posts the Mr. Krabs sing, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I love it. Just please, can we bring it to an end here within the next, 2 weeks before the trade deadline on the 4th? That's all we're asking for here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, to the extra Pittsburgh sports news this evening. Going to go back into football here for a quick moment. The Steelers today making a roster move on the practice squad. They have released quarterback Logan Woodside. We remember him faintly from the preseason when, Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson were done having their fun. Logan Woodside, I think, got in, 2 preseason games and was back there for, maybe the last series or 2 of those games. So he is now gone, released from the practice squad, and usually we think nothing of it. But could it mean the return of Will Howard from the injured reserve? We have heard that Corey Trice, he's coming back from IR here. He was one of those guys that was put on there to begin the season. Will Howard, he was another guy who was put on injured reserve to begin the season. He served his 4 games on injured reserve. Steelers have had yet to activate him and open up his return to play window. Could this now be the opportunity for Howard to maybe start that process, and then maybe the Steelers try to sneak a Skylar Thompson onto the practice squad now that the hype from his preseason performance has worn off a bit? So we will take note of that. Woodside now gone. Could Howard be back soon? And could Thompson, I think, is he still on IR? I'm not sure. I think Thompson's all right. I don't remember if he got put on IR or not, but anyways, could be seeing some quarterback shuffling here soon. We'll keep note of it. Speaking of quarterbacks, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, not rosy situations for former Steeler quarterbacks around the NFL. Mitch Trubisky, clear backup in the league to Josh Allen. Kenny Pickett now, I guess, may get some playing time with the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, hell, if Jacoby Myers wants out of the Raiders already, imagine if, Kenny Pickett starts throwing him the ball, then Myers might really want out of here and say, I don't care where I go, just trade me away from here. But Pickett, he might now become a starter for the Raiders. Fumbled his first snap with the Raiders over the weekend. Justin Fields, it looks like he is officially getting benched per Rich Cimini, who covers the Jets for ESPN. The Jets are moving towards naming Tyrod Taylor as their starting quarterback. The Jets are 0-7. And last but certainly not least, Russell Wilson got benched, I think, around week 4 for Jackson Dart up there in New York. He's been a professional about it, taking the backup role. But, I mean, yeah, is his days as a starter over? I think definitely. But he is taking shots, and now he's clapping back. Broncos head coach Sean Payton, who, we remember Russ when he was done with Seattle, was a Denver Bronco. Him and Payton did not have the bestest of relationships. Sean Payton, before the Broncos play the Giants this week, told Giants owner John Mara, said he was hoping that they'd turn to Jackson Dart at quarterback once their game passes. So he had high praise for Dart there, but also threw tons of shade about Russell Wilson, saying that he would love to play Wilson because Wilson sucks. Wilson, chiming back an hour ago, in this post, already has 6.3 million views, 40,000 likes, and 6,500 retweets. Talking about Sean Payton here, obviously. Didn't mention him, but that's who this tweet was directed towards. Classless, but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. Hashtag let's ride. Oh my God. Hell yeah, Russ. I love that there from Russ. I mean, you're already getting kicked enough, down as always, or down and out already. But going up, now you're hearing it from a head coach that you had, 2 years with, and your team in the Steelers last year's beat, you're getting crap from him in return. I'm glad Russ standing up for himself a little bit. I mean, yeah, was Peyton, did what Peyton said, is it true? Yeah, probably. But, Wilson standing up for himself, throwing some shade back the other way, bringing up the whole bounty hunting thing from many, many years ago, and then the hashtag let's ride at the end of it. I absolutely love that. So hell yeah, Russ. I love hearing that a whole bunch. So moving on here from the quarterback situation, everyone just retweeting that like crazy right now. Hell yeah to Russ. Congratulations to former Steelers coach Buddy Parker. He takes the next step towards the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026 in the coach category. I'm going to take a look at this for the first time there, Buddy Parker. He is now one of 12 coaches to advance from a list of 15 nominees. Not sure who the other nominees are there, but I mean, keep going there, Buddy. 8 seasons as Steelers coach from 1957 to 1964. His record with the Steelers, 51, 47, and 6, which, those Steelers teams of the past, I mean, every win must have been electric for them. So, yeah, good luck to Buddy Parker. Last thing here on the Steelers here for tonight, we talked about it on stream on Friday and yesterday, and that is the fact that Jaylen Warren definitely needs to get the ball more in this offense. And shout out to Zachary Smith, saying that, Warren needs to get the ball more. We've been saying that blindly. Now we got some very good stats to go along with it. Jaylen Warren, when he gets 16 or more touches in a single game, he is averaging 105 yards per game. So crazy stuff there. I mean, just looking here at some of his good performances against the Seahawks this year, 18 touches, 134 yards. Against New England, 23 touches, 81 yards. Against Cincinnati, 20 touches, 158 yards. I mean, anytime this guy gets the rock, he does good things with it. So please, indeed, feed 30. Wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the night. Actually, I take that back. One more extra Steelers segment talking about stats here, and it's a good thing when Jaylen Warren gets the ball. Same thing could be said for Pat Freiermuth. A stat from the Steelers PR department put this out there today. Freiermuth, the first Steelers tight end since L.B. Nickel in 1953. We just talked about the 1950 Steelers with Buddy Parker. Freiermuth, the first Steelers tight end since 1953 to have 2 touchdowns and 100 or more receiving yards in the same game. Crazy. Eric Green didn't do that. Heath Miller didn't do that. So that is some pretty insane stuff right there, if I had to say so. Wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the day. Just talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates for a quick second. Gonna briefly mention some of the Pirates prospects as they are off playing their international leagues throughout the winter. One guy you should pay attention to, Esmeralyn Valdez, Pirates number 15 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, just shot up the prospect rankings throughout the baseball season, and he is continuing to have a rocket on him right now through this prospect system. He, right now, in, I think, the AFL Baseball League, whatever league that is, the Arizona Fall League. Excuse me, that's what it is. The Arizona Fall League right now. Valdez, through his first 8 games, a 500 batting average, a 686 on base percentage, a 1/600 slugging percentage, a 2.286 OPS, 7 home runs, 13 RBIs, 13 walks, 3 strikeouts. Something crazy. He is only behind Barry Bonds to have a player with a OPS up there. Barry Bonds is the only player to have an OPS higher than that through their first 8 games of a season. So Valdez is doing some insane stuff right now. He was also named the hitter of the week in that league. So hey, keep going there, young man. Last thing here on the Pirates before we wrap up tonight. Kind of hard, between football games and Penguins games to not turn on the MLB postseason, and the World Series matchup officially set. Toronto Blue Jays, insane game last night going up against the Moneyball team. Well, not the anti-Moneyball team, the team that is buying the sport, the LA Dodgers, and quite a bit of former Pittsburgh Pirates on those teams. Of course, looking at the Dodgers, Anthony Bonda, Tyler Glasnow, who's a big contributor there. Looking here, who else is on the okay, not seeing any. Never mind. So yeah, you got Glasnow and Bonda for the Dodgers, as well as Andrew Heaney as well. I forgot him for the Blue Jays. Justin Brule, Tyler Heineman, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who was their starting second baseman last night. So one way or another, 3 former Pirates are going to get World Series rings. Probably, I don't know, by this time, a week and a half from now. As much as I like the Blue Jays and I want to give them a fighting chance against the Dodgers, I just don't think that they're gonna stand a chance. The Dodgers, they blew out the Brewers, and the Blue Jays, I think, used up a lot of their players to win that series in 7 games. So I'm expecting a pretty ugly World Series. But hey, the Dodgers win. Lockout 2027. Here we come. Get a salary cap and floor on baseball. I say that as a Pirates fan, and I know fans of these bigger market teams, oh, make your owners spend. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. You think we haven't said that? Make nutting spend? No kidding. We've only been, saying that forever now since he bought the team. But also, if Nutting spends as much money as we want, who's going to stop the Dodgers payroll from exceeding above, $500 million or even going up to $750 million within the next couple of years? Nothing. So baseball definitely needs that. Hopefully it comes here in 2027. All right. 7 of you still in here right now. Let's wrap up tonight's show with some comments in the comment section. Concepts here. Sean Payton, a trash head coach. His only win over the Steelers was him cheating with those fake ghost PIs against Joe Hayden. Russ was the only good part of that terrible offense in Payton's year one. Yeah, Payton has never beaten the Steelers, and I remember that game against the Saints where, it was Kamara? No. Wait, was it Kamara? I think it was Alvin Kamara who Hayden had that phantom, just grazed very lightly, put my hand on your back PI. That was absolutely bullcrap there. But yeah, I never really liked Payton as a head coach. He's sort of like, trying to go into hockey terms here, like the Peter Laviolette or John Tortorella of football. Those are two, hockey coaches that are very are very strict coaches that also have a bit of a-hole side to them. Tortorella, I've kind of, lightened up with over the past couple of years. He seems to be more and more cooler as he's, fading out of hockey. But Peter Laviolette, he's still, hated him when he was with the Philadelphia Flyers. I think he had a pit stop there with the Rangers and the Capitals as well. So he was never really liked. Peyton, he's kind of football's version of that. Lance33 here. What's up, Brady? Shout out from Mon Valley. Welcome to there, Lance33. Well, surprised Benny Cunningham did not do that. Yeah, I think Jerry Dulac in his post mentioned him as well. But, I would have expected Heath to do that. You're telling me there wasn't one single game back in that heyday of the late 2010s for that Steelers offense, or the late 2000s, early 2010s of that Steelers offense where Roethlisberger, Big Ben, slinging it all over the yard to Ward and Wallace and Randall L. and those guys. You're telling me there wasn't one game there where they just said, hey, Heath, they can't stop you today. You're getting over 100 yards and 2 tuds today. I was shocked by that as well there. So thought that was crazy. Concepts. All 3 tight ends caught touchdowns. That's what's wild is Hayward was very close to a touchdown catch as well. Yeah, did see that. That was, I think, the first time in NFL history. I'm trying to remember the exact stat here that we said from Friday. I think Thursday, the Bengals game. Smith, Freiermuth, Washington each caught touchdowns. It was the first time in NFL history that 3 tight ends on the same team in the same game had at least one touchdown catch and 3 catches, I think was the exact stat. I didn't want to say, over 50 yards or something like that. But yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, could we see 4 touchdown, all 4 tight ends catch a touchdown? If Hayward does catch that ball, which I think was just out in front of him and it clinked off of his fingers, that very well could have been the case. I think, Rodgers definitely comes back to Jonnu Smith at some point the rest of that game. Lance 3-3 here. That was the week. That big mouth D lineman for the Saints scoffed when asked if Big Ben was an elite quarterback. Yeah, remember that too. That was just an awful game. And that made me, what was it? No, it wasn't the same year. Or was it a couple of years after that no PI penalty was called on the LA Rams in the NFC Championship game that cost the Saints a trip to the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, that was, 10 times as worse as Hayden's, even though Hayden's was very, very bad. But that made me, feel just a little bit less sympathy for the Saints because Peyton, a-hole head coach, and, those phantom PIs against the Steelers in that game. All right, going to take one more stroll here through Twitter before we log off for the night. We are about 20 minutes from a puck drop between the Pens and Nucks. After 7 p.m. Yeah, I mean, man, I'm good luck if I'm going to find anything else on my Twitter timeline right now other than Russell Wilson. It is crazy right now. Got a post here from Josh Getzoff taking a picture of the ice there at PPG Paints Arena. Kevin Lankinen, the guy who the Canucks signed a couple off seasons ago to replace Arturs Shalovs, will be in net tonight for the Canucks. So Shalovs going up against kind of his replacement. I think, Thatcher Demko with the Canucks, he was always going to be the starter there in Vancouver. But Shalovs, I thought he had a good thing going as their backup. And now Lankinen, who they signed and replaced him, he's going to get the start against Shalovs. So even more motivation, more bulletin board material for Shalovs. But back to the Getzoff thing. Great to have him back in the booth again, as we mentioned. Also, one more time reiterating this, the Steelers wearing those throwback 1933 uniforms on Sunday night. Someone brought up a good point. These two historic, very well branded franchises. Why couldn't they just have their normal uniforms go up against each other, or even the Steelers wearing their block uniforms, their block number uniforms? I don't know, but this one right now, this new alternate uniform, I like it, but against the Packers, a team that has the white away jerseys, but the yellow pants and the yellow helmets as well. That's a lot of yellow out there on the field at Acrisure Stadium on Sunday night. So that could be a tad bit fooling on the eyes of the quarterbacks. We'll see. Lance here, still not as bad as the Bumblebees or the ones they wore on a Thursday night losing to Buddy Ryan's Cardinals. Yeah, I mean, well, these jerseys kind of do look like the Bumblebees. And as much as, the Bumblebee jerseys were ugly, at least they won in them a bunch. So hopefully the power of the Bumblebees are able to find their way into the threads of these jerseys here for Sunday night. It was 2 ghost PIs, actually, that same game. Legit 14 free points off of those. Yes, I'm still angry. LOL, that scammed Pittsburgh from the playoff that year. Yeah, I mean... So, yeah, that definitely was a very frustrating game, thinking back to it, their concepts. I think that's going to do it here for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for joining me here on the channel again. We will see what all happens in the next 24 hours. May be back here tomorrow night. We will see, but we'll recap everything that goes on in tonight's Pens game and what goes on in Steelers practices tomorrow, and then we will be back here tomorrow. So one final time, thank you all for joining me. Like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment after the fact, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and come back a little bit later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your Tuesday evenings, just like Lance says right here, and we will see you back here tomorrow. So have a good night, everyone. Peace.